My name is Jibril Musa from Nigeria, representing Group 2, Affirmative. I'm here to present on the topic, shall African governments invest in genomic surveillance to track the spread and mutation of NTDs like Schistosomiasis and Leishmaniasis, that is neglected tropical disease. Next slide. Introduction. Today, we stand in firm support of the motion. African governments shall invest in genomic surveillance to track the spread and mutation of neglected tropical disease like schistosomiasis and leishmaniasis. This is not just a scientific necessity, it is an ethical imperative, a public health lifeline, and a strategic investment in Africa's future. Neglected tropical diseases like schistosomiasis and leishmaniasis affect over 1.7 billion people globally. Africa bears 40% of the global burden of NTDs, says WHO 2024, and the use of genomic data to monitor disease evolution, spread, and resistant patterns in, in pathogens is timely. Next slide. Opening statement. African governments have the moral and strategic duty to deploy genomic surveillance for neglected tropical disease. Investing in genomic surveillance is not a luxury, it is a necessity for survival, sovereignty, and public health security in Africa. Early detection will result faster response. Better policy decision will result lives saved. Ignoring genomic surveillance will result playing catch up with delayed disease. Next slide. Constructive argument. Precision, precision public health. Genomic surveillance enables targeted intervention and efficient resource allocation. Example, in Uganda, genomics help track schistosomiasis transmission hotspots, reducing cost and improving treatment coverage. Cobrel et al. 2023. Next slide. Detecting mutation and drug resistance. Traditional methods miss early stage mutation that lead to drug resistance. Ethiopia reported Leishmania resistant to pentavalent antimonials traced via genomics, says WHO 2024. Delay in adaptation costs lives and money. Next slide. Pandemic preparedness and One Health. Genomic surveillance support the One Health approach by integrating human, animal, and environmental data. Neglected tropical diseases like Leishmaniasis are zoonotic, spread from animals to humans, and sometimes vice versa. Investing now prevent the next outbreak from becoming next pandemic. Next slide. Local capacity building. Investing in genomics builds skilled local workforce, innovation, biotechnology innovation, and infrastructure. Countries like Rwanda and Nigeria now lead in genomic sequencing due to early investment, says Africa CDC 2024. Next slide. Rebuttal. It is too expensive and resource intensive. Investing in genomics is cost saving in the long run. Yes, it was once resource intensive, but costs have dropped by over 90% in the last 10 years. Nature Biotechnology 2023 said. Portable sequences like Oxford Monapo are now affordable and field deployable even in rural Africa. Over 15 African countries now participate in the African Pathogen Genomics Initiative, says Africa CDC 2024. Proof that the technology is already being used successfully in resource-limited settings. Next slide. Only 14% of African countries have advanced sequencing capacity. That was 2012. As of 2024, over 30 African nations have sequencing labs and regional hubs. Example, EDICIT in Nigeria, NCID in South Africa support others, says Africa CDC 2024. Donor partnership, example, Gates Foundation, Wellcome Trust, UK Public Health Rapid Support Team are actively co-funding sequencing labs to close gaps, says Welcome 2023. Next slide. Competing health priorities due to financial constraints. False dichotomy is not either or. Genomics enhances basic healthcare by ensuring accurate diagnostic and informed treatment. Genomics informs smarter mass drug administration, reveals drug resistance early, and helps track emerging mutation, all of which save money and lives in the long term, says Africa CDC 2024. Treatment patients without understanding resistant trends is wasteful and harmful. Next slide. Competing health priorities due to financial constraints. Neglected tropical disease cause massive feeding economic and educational damage. Schistosomiasis alone causes over 3.3 million disability, adjusted life years lost year, says WHO 2024. Reducing children cognitive function and productivity. Genomic surveillance also benefit cross-cutting disease including TB, malaria, and emerging zoonosis under the One Health umbrella. Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and Africa CDC 2023 said it is not an neglected only investment but a public health multiplier. Next slide. Competing health priorities due to financial constraints. Burden is not only about death but about chronic disability, school dropouts, and long-term lost economic potential. Schistosomiasis affects over 180 million people in Africa and is directly linked to bladder cancer, anemia, and female genital disease, which are silent killers of the poor. Otis et al. 2023. Next slide. Challenges of implementation. Capacity grows only if we invest. Africa has success stories. Africa Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases (HCID) in Nigeria helped identify the first Ebola case in 2024, initiating surveillance within 6 hours and subsequently developing rapid diagnostic tests. South Africa National Institute for Communicable Diseases (NCID) sequenced COVID-19 variants ahead of Europe. Next slide. Challenges of implementation. Genomic surveillance requires robust systems that many African nations lack. Africa Genomic Hubs are already training over 500 local scientists annually. Africa CDC Genomics Academy 2023. Many sequencing platforms now work with solar power and offline functionality. Example, portable devices used in remote Ebola surveillance in DRC, says Cook et al. Nature 2026. Implementing is challenging, yes, but already been successfully done. Next slide. Ethical and social resistance. That's why community engagement is key. Programs like Genomics and Society Initiative in Kenya and Uganda have successfully built trust through public dialogues, local researcher involvement, and transparency. Genomics Africa Network 2023 says it is an unsolvable barrier. It is a matter of intentional education. Next slide. Lack of immediate impact. Genomics enable rapid detection of COVID-19 variants in Africa, reducing global delays, says Fulham et al. 2021. Similarly, early detection of drug-resistant Leishmania in Ethiopia prevented widespread treatment failure, says WHO 2024. Genomics can save lives quickly if implemented. Next slide. Real-world case. Schistosomiasis in Senegal River Basin. Genomic studies identified hybrid schistosomes with increased virulence. Without genomics, this deadly evolution will go unnoticed until disaster strikes. Next slide. Resource allocation, exploitation, and data sovereignty. Sovereignty. That's why Africa must invest to control its own data. Africa CDC's Data Governance Policy 2023 ensures ownership, local storage, and ethical use. Countries like Rwanda and Ghana already enforce data sovereignty laws of genomics. Genomic data sovereignty means African led research and policy, not dependency. Without investment, Africa relies on foreign labs for outbreak data, which result in delaying response. Next slide. Closing statement. Costs dropping fast. Complex, already done by Africans. Less urgent, try telling that no families affected by resistant parasites, misdiagnosis, or untreatable outbreaks. Genomic surveillance is not a luxury, it is the life saving compass in our health arsenal. Africa must not wait for another COVID 19 scale disaster to realize that seeing the enemy's genome is the first step to defeating it. Next slide. Thank you for listening.